So this is the design we'll be recreating in today's tutorial or teaching. So if you look at this design, it's very simple and is nice. So complexity is not always what you should look out for in your designs. Just keep it simple, minimal, and very nice. So before I go into recreating this, showing you how I make this, I'm going to use this to further buttress the design principles, the principles of design. The principles of design are what makes our designs beautiful. So if you look at this design, let me start with white space. This design has a lot of spaces, breathing spaces. As you can see, I did not jam pack the write-up. I did not fill it up with a lot of information. I gave it a breathing space. All these places, these are the white spaces. Remember that white space is not necessarily white. It's just the breathing space you give to your design. So that is one of the principles of design. So another thing you notice here is alignment. Let me turn on my grid. This design is well aligned. You take a look at this grid here by my right. You can see all the elements, this text here and this, they are on a straight line. Then for this one too, it's on a straight line. If there was a text here, it will be on a straight line. This is an image, so it had the liberty of running off. You could, if this image was, let's say, thinner, and you turn on your grid and you don't have it right up here, you can still align it to this side, but it's still okay the way it is. Alright, another thing you notice is balance. While creating this, I noticed, let me say I turn up this part and this part. You see that here there's a right up here, there's a right up here, a picture here, and here is empty. It's looking like a car without one tire. It's not looking balanced. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, assuming I even remove this mass image, you can see that this is not looking balanced. It's hanging kind of in the eyes. Why? Because there's nothing on this space. Assuming I don't want to write anything here, what I could do would be to bring this right up in the middle. I'll bring them down a little bit, make them bigger to fill up the space so that this will look balanced. Another way I could make this balanced would be to bring it down here, then take this to the middle to be balanced with just this right up. Assuming I don't want to use the image, or I don't want to put the call to action, so it doesn't necessarily mean that you only balance your design when you have a lot of things to put there. No, whatever your client gives you, whatever information you have, you as a designer, you have to find a way to make sure your design is balanced. You find a way to place them in a way that they'll be balanced. So if this was all the information I had, I would have just placed this one down here. I actually took this up because of this same issue of balance. It was down previously when I was writing out my text, but as I was designing it, I found out there was a space at the top, so I took it up to fill up that gap, which is still okay. It's still okay there. So let me turn this back on, and this one. So another thing we can see here is proximity. I didn't write this call to action here and then I went to put the number here. No, I put them together close to each other. I didn't write this main theme of this flyer. I didn't write boost your business, and then I'll come down right online. You see, so the objects that are related, these the texts, the elements that are related, you bring them together. That's proximity. All right. Now, another thing you can notice here is repetition. Yeah, I repeated the font I used. Repetition is not just for shapes. Repetition covers fonts, the textures, the text you use, the sizes of stops, the colors you use. So I repeated some colors, I repeated some fonts. In fact, this design is just two fonts. This is one font here. Alright, let's say two typefaces. This is one typeface and this is another typeface. So all these others are variants of this typeface. So a typeface, if you remember, is a family of fonts, and it's usually safer for you to use a particular typeface for your design. It makes it look more classy. So this is the black version of this font. This is the regular version, and this is semi-bold. So I just maintained the same typeface like I have tried to explain, and this is a different font. So I can say I just used two typefaces in this flyer design. Alright, so we've talked about balance and then contrast. The background and the text color, they are contrasting, and that's why you can read them well. Assuming I changed this to, let's say, let me look for a color that will not contrast well. Alright, assuming I change this to this light pink, you see they don't have a good contrast. If you're far away, you cannot read this when you print this, but because I give it red, they have a good contrast. You can easily read that. Let me see if there's another color with a bad contrast. Right, this ash color too, you can barely see what is written there, but because you can barely see that because they don't have a good contrast. It doesn't have a good contrast with the background. So just imagine you also using the same color of this background. Let me see, this is the color of this background. If you use it on your text again, you can barely see what you have there. So this design has passed all the principles of graphic design. Is balanced, there's a good contrast, proximity is there, alignment is there, repetition. So don't bother bringing in too many elements. The ones that are brought in, repeat them. Right, so and then we have the white space everywhere you go. So that is it. So we'll just go into the design right away. So when you checking your work, I'm not just looking at the beauty. Of course, your work can be beautiful if you don't obey the principles of design. The principles of design are what make designs beautiful. So your work cannot be beautiful if you disobey them, and that is why it's necessary for you to know them and obey the principles. So we won't just be looking at the color or the beauty. We are going to be checking if your design followed the design principles. All right, so let's get into this design. Okay, for us to continue, I will just go to my project interface, and let me make sure I save this. Okay, and I'll just go and clear it off. So the easiest way for you to recreate a design is to import it. So I'll go to my gallery and import what I've created so that it will help me to know how to recreate it. So I'll just go to my gallery now. Alright, so this is the flyer from my gallery. So if you want to recreate a design, you can easily import it from your gallery so that you see what you're working with, and it will help you to also pick colors. If you want to get the exact design someone created, you can import your design from there. You pick the colors. Like now I can go to my background here, click on the plus sign, click on this eyedropper here, then I'll pick this color of this background here. So this is the color of this background, but it's kind of dark because that background is dark. It's not a bright yellow. Okay, so I will go to my gallery to get that texture we have in the background. Or before I do that, let's just take the text. So I'm just going to write boost your then I'll go to my fonts, change it to, I use this one, attention, boost you. Okay, then I'll repeat another text, business, then go to the font. I use Metropolis Black for this. Then I'll just make a copy of this because it's the same font. Then I'll write online. This will go here. Then I will, well, let me make a copy of this, but I'll still change that. Right with graphic designs. So I'll reduce the size of this, go to my font. So I use the regular font for the Metropolis, so I will just keep it here. Don't worry about the arrangement. Let me just write out the fonts, the text rather. So I will bring this to the front so that I'll see what I'm doing. Then I'm going to write, we are a branding agency. Okay, so I use the regular font of the Metropolis, so regular, and I'll just reduce this. Then I'll then bring in the call to action, select the text. So I use the Styling Board for this, so I will just type it out. Come on now. Okay, so all of them should be in capital letter according to my design here. Then I'm going to go to the font, give it the semi-bold, so I'll just go and search for it, semi-bold. Then I went to the text background, enabled it, and I chose this color. This color I got it from this man's dress. Okay, let me leave that off. Let me go to my gallery and bring in this guy here so that I'll show you how I got the color. So this is the man's picture. I flipped it to the other side because I wanted to be here. Then I'm just going to go and give this a color. So when you're designing, it's also best to choose colors from the picture you have if the color is okay. So I'll pick this light red. So that was what I used. Then I gave this a good padding to the left, to the right, top, bottom. Then I made it a little bit roundish, by increasing the radius. The edges become roundish. I hope you can see what's happening there at the edges. Okay, so I just gave it a little edge and round edge. So that is it for that. Then I will just make a copy of this and edit it to write the phone number. You can write your own phone number here. So let me just give an imaginary phone number. So but I don't need a background, so I'll just go and remove the background like so. Then I'll give this a color, black color. All right, then this, I'll still arrange all of this. Then the last text here is, let me bring this to the front, is the social media icons. So I have a font for that, so I'll just, this is F for Facebook, I for Instagram, T for Twitter, and Y for YouTube. So I'll just go to my font. So I didn't count this as a number of fonts because it's just for social media icons. So this is the one I used. If you have the icons yourself, you can just import them from your gallery, but I like using this because it's just straightforward. I don't need to go to my gallery. I'll just have all I need here. So this will go there. Then I'll make a copy of this because it's the same font I used. Make a copy, edit it. Then I'm going to write Bam Bam Designs. Then I'll just give the black color. So most times what I usually do is to write out my text before I start the design. Alright, so this is it. Let me turn on the grid to help us. So because of my previous design, this grid is well set. This is not what you will see when you turn on your own grid, but I have set it to this. So let me show you. Just click here, tap on this vertical one by the right. We check the spacing. The position of this grid is 94%, and for it to get to 100 you need 6% more, right? Yeah, that's 100 minus 94 is 6%. So you just okay that and you touch the other end by the left, and this is at 6%. This shows you that they are evenly spaced, equally spaced. So I was the one who set it to this position. So assuming I set it to 10% here, assuming, that means this other right side would be what? 90%. Right, so I hope you got that. Then so with that turned on, I'm just going to arrange all of this to be properly aligned. Sorry, I moved this unintentionally. So when you're done setting your grid, tap on this again to remove it, so that you don't be moving your rulers when you don't want to move them. So this one now, I'm just going to hide this so that I will continue with this. Alright, so another thing I did was to put this line here so that I'll make sure that these two are on a straight line. So that's the alignment we're talking about. So so I'm just going to start changing the colors to black, 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 and this one the same color from the clothes. So let me increase this a bit. reduce this a bit and increase this. So also in your arrangement, you also arrange you make the most important point to be bigger than the less important points. So that's why boost here is kind of small and with a different font. Then these other ones are bigger than it. So because of this arrangement, I put this design here from Shapes, just this. Then I gave it the color of this man's clothes. You see, I repeated the color, that's repetition. So I kept it here. I used it to cover up the space. That's just it. So you can use the opacity. So I will bring it down a bit to be down below business, but on top of online. So that's the way I arranged it. Now this of the business, I will increase this because they are looking small. So let me make sure this is at the center. Okay, then this will come up. Then I will enlarge this to match this. Then this one too, I will increase the size a bit, then position it to fit this. Alright, so we're almost done. Then if you look at this design here and bring it forward, you see that we have this shape here. So I'm just going to go to my shapes and create that shape, give it the same color as others. So I'll use my grid line for this. I want this to come down. Let me do it this way. Good. So this is where this shape, let me use the position to move it. Whenever I can't move precisely, it's best to use your position so that I don't distort your shape. So that done, I'm going to be moving this up, then position it close to the ruler. Okay, then this will take a black color, then I'll use the size. Then I'll go to my layers. Okay, let me just do it one by one and move it up. Then this one will go up. So the rulers are there to guide you so that you know when they are properly aligned. Okay, so that is done. We are almost there. So it's remaining this one. I'll reduce the size. Doesn't have to be so big. So I'll move it to this edge, move this to this edge. I think this number is too much. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. Okay, let me reduce it. So this is just an imaginary number. Okay, that's fine. So the next thing I'll do is to work on this image. I'll hide this, then bring my image up, increase it a bit. So what I did to this image, I went to color filters and I just increased the saturation, the contrast. So this makes it better, makes it to pop up. Alright, so this is what we have. So if you look at this design, it's looking blank. So what I did was to add a little bit of texture to the background. So I'll go to my gallery now to bring the texture. So this is the texture I used. I'll just go and resize it here. then use relative position to position it like so. Then I'll just take it to the back, then I will reduce the opacity. So why this is not popping is because we chose the background color from the image, and when I added this, it made the design darker, so that's why the background is darker. So I want to go and make it to be lighter, like an orange and yellow color. Oh, this is too bright, too bright, too bright, too bright. Let me check the default yellow we have here. Okay, I think this is okay. So I will go and lock this up. So guys, this is our design. I want to use the size of this. This is the size. So this is size further. Then I'll bring it down. Okay. Then I noticed that this is bigger here. So because of that adjustment, that stuff has gone up. So let me bring it down together. Okay. So this is what we have, guys. When you're done, you just go through and see what you need to correct. So right now I think I need to enlarge this center text, so I'll just go and select all of them. Boost your business online with graphic design, then you click here, click on size and make them bigger together, but you can still do them one by one, but I prefer to do mine this way. So I'm just going to bring this down, then bring this down and move it a little bit to align with the S. Bring this down, bring it a little bit to align with the E. So this is what we have. I think the texture here is too opaque, so I'm going to increase it a little bit. Right, so this is what we have. Then this has to go up. So when you're done with your designs, you look around, see what you need to correct and what you need to put in place. Okay, so I want to bring this call to action down. Just bring it down. So that's fine, and this is looking too big. I'll resize it. It doesn't have to be big. The number can be big, but that one shouldn't be big. So because I've resized it, I need to move it. I need to move it to align back with the ruler. So guys, this was how this design was made. So I would like to see your own work. Thank you.